What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz Angle. My name is Ryan Linkletter. I'm here with Dan Loya and Brady Penn. The playoffs are here, and this might be the most unpredictable playoff field we have had in quite some time on both sides of things. We're going to talk about all the games in Wild Card Weekend, our favorite picks from the week, some of the best bets to target entering this weekend, so you can make some money and potentially move on in some of your playoff brackets, or even if you're doing a fantasy football playoff challenge. We're 1-1 on Blitz Sports Media. So make sure you guys tune into that as well. That'll be a link in the description. Wild card weekend, first game we're going to talk about. We have on Saturday the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Carolina Panthers. Dan, this is the biggest spread of the week. Do the Panthers have a chance?
Oh yeah, they definitely have a chance. They beat them a couple weeks ago. I believe it was week 13. They beat them by 3 points. It was a real close game. So they definitely have a chance, but I think obviously the Rams are a better team. They're favored by 10.5. That should tell you everything you need to know. Looking back on the last game, when they previously played, the Panthers were 3 for 3 on fourth downs, and the Rams gave up way too many explosive plays. They're starting to get healthier now. They returned their safety, Quentin Lake. He's coming back from injured reserve. That's definitely going to help this Rams team. So I like the Rams in this one. Overall, historically, Sean McVay is 8-5 in the playoffs, and the Panthers this season are 2-5 against teams over 500. Their two wins have been the Rams and the Packers. So I like the Rams in this matchup.
Yeah, and in the Panthers' wins over those teams above 500 hasn't been pretty by any means. I mean, this team has struggled to consistently move the ball through the air, and they've had to find gritty ways, control the clock, and maintain a strong ground game. That ground game for Carolina hasn't really been the same over the last month of the season. Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard haven't been as efficient. I mean, last week against Tampa Bay in that must-win game, the Bucks, who had a bottom 12 run defense in football, struggled the rest of the year. And against Carolina, they shut them down, and that offense had no chance. And the Bucks were able to do just enough to get that win in what was technically a must-win game for the Panthers. Now they're playing with a little bit of house money. I don't really see the Panthers beating the Rams twice. With Devontae Adams coming back, that's a massive addition for this offense. As outside of Puka Nakua, it felt like they were really missing him in that pass game outside of their tight end game. So I think that's a big boost for the Rams. As far as matchups I'm targeting, I think Puka's overs are in real play. I mean, they're going to be super high entering this matchup, but you're going to see J.C. Horn lined up more with Devontae Adams on the outside than with Puka Nakua a majority of times. So I think Nakua is a good bet. On the other side of things, take a look at Tet McMillan. I think McMillan could be in for a nice day in a volume-filled game for the Panthers. I got the Rams in this one, 28-17. Brady, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I actually think that I have a weird feeling that the Panthers will cover in this game, but I do think that they're going to lose, and I don't think that the game is going to necessarily ever be in much doubt. It could be a garbage time score that helps the Panthers to cover, but I think that for the most part, the Rams will control this game. And honestly, like this will be a recurring theme with all my predictions this playoffs, but it's as simple to me a lot of times, probably 8 out of 10 times, is who has the better quarterback, and it's not even close in this one. I know that's really dumbing it down. That's really a simplistic way to look at it, but you look historically, especially over the last decade in the NFL, that is a good indicator of who is going to win a playoff game. And you've got either the MVP or the MVP runner-up in Matthew Stafford going up against Bryce Young, who even in his best year as a pro has looked very mediocre, very inconsistent. McMillan's your only true weapon that you have. Like you said, the run game has had issues over the last few weeks. And in that game where LA beat Carolina, LA turned the ball over 3 times. Matthew Stafford turned it over 3 times with 2 interceptions and a fumble that sealed the deal where the Rams were driving to take the lead in Carolina territory. I don't see the Panthers repeating the third and fourth down success like Dan mentioned. I don't see them forcing 3 turnovers again. And I think it should be a pretty comfortable win for the Rams.
Yep, the Rams will be moving on, according to all of us. The next game on Saturday night, not as clear. The Green Bay Packers and Chicago Bears split during the season, and if it wasn't for an onside kick mishandled by Romeo Dobbs, the Packers would have been 2-0 against the Bears, and it could have been a little bit different seeding in the NFC. Dan, it's matchups in Chicago. Both teams are getting a lot of players back in this one. Obviously, no Micah Parsons for the Green Bay Packers, but what are your thoughts? Can Chicago win its first playoff game in a very long time on Sunday?
Yeah, Bears haven't won a playoff game since 2010. So yeah, it's been quite a while for that team in Chicago, but I really don't think this game's going to be close. I feel really confident about this one. Green Bay comes to this game on a 4-game losing streak. During their losing streak, their defense has allowed 28 points per game, and out of those 4 games, they only recorded 3 sacks. So ever since they lost Michael Parsons, it's kind of been a downward spiral for this ball club. Another thing that I don't like is the Packers can't stop the run anymore. You saw it against Baltimore in prime time on a Saturday night. They allowed Derrick Henry to rush for 307 and 4 TDs. Yeah, good luck stopping this Bears team, who's really good, top 3 run game in the NFL. The Packers defense has allowed over 100 rush yards in 3 of their last 4 games. Yeah, I think the Bears offense is going to run all over this Green Bay Packer team. So I really like the Bears, man. I just everywhere I look, the Bears have been playing some competitive football. Jordan Love hasn't played in what 2.5 weeks now. He's just gonna show up and start look sharp on Saturday night. I don't think so. I think it's gonna take him a while. And then against this Bears defense that they have recorded at least 1 takeaway in 10 straight games. They currently lead the NFL with 33 takeaways. I really like this Bears team on both sides of the ball, and I think they're going to get it done. And I think this is going to be a revenge game for when they played in the NFC Championship years ago when Jay Cutler only
There's
played
no
half the
revenge
quarter.
for that one.
Uh,
Revenge
this
15
this is
years
it.
later,
This is it.
baby.
I'm telling you, this is it's a new era for Bears fans. Ben Johnson's the guy. They put everything to rest and close that chapter, and they get it done, man. I feel really confident about the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I here's where I kind of stand on this one. I think this one's one of the second hardest game of the week for me to predict, in a large part due to I think the Packers' defensive injuries have me pretty concerned. But on the
Yeah,
flip side of things, right, this Bears offense against division opponents specifically have really struggled to produce consistently on the offensive side of
Mhm.
the ball, and it has been a night and day difference, right? With Caleb Williams throughout this year on the fantasy football side specifically, it's been really easy to predict his spike weeks and his weeks where he struggles. When he has played a good to elite defense, he hasn't really played very well this year. If he's played a great matchup, you've seen Caleb put up some gaudy numbers and him look really good. Last week was a great example of kind of where Caleb and this Bears offense is. They play a division opponent with a weak defense. They didn't look very good at all last week. And if it wasn't for 2 fourth quarter scores after they were down and getting routed through 3 quarters, right, that was a game that was trending towards a blowout if the defense allows a few less field goals and those turn into touchdowns. But somehow, right, the Bears find a way in the 4th quarter. And that's what this team has been really good at this entire season. It hasn't always looked pretty, it hasn't always been consistent, but the Bears find a way to get you in the 4th quarter and stay within the game enough to go and make plays when they need to, right? Last time they played against the Packers, they needed a little bit of luck mixed in there too. Romeo Dobbs dropping the onside kick,
yeah,
right? Jordan Love gets hurt. But the biggest thing I look at when I watch this matchup is how good the Packers offense has been over the last few weeks, despite who has been at quarterback. This team is efficiently moving the ball down the field consistently. Josh Jacobs got some rest last week, and he needed that. I mean, the guy's been going out there and playing through God knows what at this point. And this offense is going to come back a little bit healthy. Zach Tom looks like he's returning to the lineup as well. This Green Bay Packers offense is going to move the ball effectively against a Bears defense that has, like you mentioned, relied a ton on turnovers. And Green Bay's offense has been really good at keeping the ball away from opponents the second half of this
yeah.
season. So I think Green Bay, right, I feel like they have a little bit of a sour taste in their mouth with how they left Chicago last time. Chicago celebrating, buying the cheese grater hats, all that type of stuff. Green Bay's been in these playoffs. They've been to some of these big moments. They have a coach that's coached in a lot of these games. I think Chicago, while they're an ascending team, the Packers are that more experienced. They have the better offense. I think they're going to get the job done against the Bears entering this week. Brady, what are your
Hey,
thoughts?
sorry, Brady. Can I rebuttal real
Yeah,
quick?
go
I
ahead. Go
got
ahead.
some good
What's your
stats
rebuttal?
because Ryan mentioned that the Packers do a good job marching down the field, but if you look at it from weeks 15 through 17, their stats in the red zone have been terrible. In those games combined, they're just 2 for 11. They're 18% in the red zone. So they can move the ball down the field. They can't finish drives, and that's what kind of bit them in the butt against the Bears. I mean, they were in the red zone how many times? They went 0 for 5 that game. So I think it's not going to get any better against this Bears team. And Matt LaFleur, he has a lot of playoff experience. He's only 3-5 in the playoffs. So that's my rebuttal to you.
I'll say
Nuggets.
this to rebuttal you. The Packers have had
Mhm.
one of the best goal to go offenses in terms of red zone production in the last 5 years. over the NFL with LaFleur as their head coach. And I think in a large part due to the red zone not producing as well is Jordan Love's been out and Josh Jacobs has been hurt. And Zach Tom,
Mhm.
also another lineman's been hurt. I think you insert those guys back in the lineup, their red zone numbers jump up. And I do think Chicago's been good in the red zone, right? But Green Bay and LaFleur have had a lot of success in that area throughout his tenure. So I'm not super worried about that entering this
Something to
week.
watch.
All right. Both times that these teams have matched up, I've picked Green Bay, and I'm not changing that. I'm going with Green Bay. Once again, I think that another thing that really matters, I mentioned the quarterbacks and how indicative that is. I think playoff experience matters, and the Packers, it's the third straight year they're in as the seventh seed, and they're going to visit the two seed. They are the only number two, or they're the only number seven seed in this expanded playoff format to go and win a playoff game. They went and won in Dallas in 2023. I think they're going to go into Chicago and win. And I think that Caleb Williams specifically is who I'm worried about in this playoff environment for the first time. We've seen Caleb like just emotionally and like with how high overhyped I feel like he can get sometimes within himself. Like I feel like this atmosphere might have him a little bit shook, even though obviously the crowd will be behind him at Soldier Field. I just don't know what to expect. And he could make me eat my words. He could come out and have 300 yards and three touchdowns. But even the last two playoff games that we have seen Ben Johnson coach have not gone great for his offense. The second half of the NFC title game against San Francisco in 2023, and then last year's divisional round against Washington. I know Jared Goff turned the ball over a lot, but we've seen a little bit of inconsistency from Ben Johnson's offenses the last two times that we've seen him in a playoff setting. So I'll be really interested against a shorthanded Packers defense without Micah Parsons. But I think experience really does hold a lot of weight in my mind. And I think that the Packers are the better overall football team, even without Micah Parsons and Tucker Kraft. I think the Bears are a really good story. I think they're a very gritty football team, and I think they're going to be around for a while. But I don't think that this is the year for them to kind of arrive on that stage. Give me Green Bay to move on to Seattle next week.
All right, I mentioned that was my second toughest matchup to pick. I think this is the
Interesting.
toughest matchup for everybody. The Buffalo Bills are traveling to Jacksonville. The Bills, right? They have the most experienced quarterback. They have the best quarterback among the field, right? They've been there and they have no Chiefs in the playoffs to stand in their way at this point. Jacksonville has the most wins against teams over 500 among the playoff field. Dan, what are your thoughts? Who's coming out on top?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's what the psychology of picking against Josh Allen. It's a team game. It's okay. He's still a great player. It's nothing against him. No one's gonna take his MVPs or his Hall of Fame trajectory if he loses this game. Just stay off the internet for a couple days. The Jaguars are a better team. They're 7-2 at home. They've won 8 in a row. They're a better team in every phase of the game compared to the Buffalo Bills. The Jags have scored 25 plus points 9 of their last 10 games. Trevor Lawrence is on a heater in that win streak. He's put up 24 total touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 2 fumbles. So he's playing some good ball right now. And the Bills' run defense, they can't stop anybody. They allow 5 yards per carry. That's 30th to running backs. And then also, what's kind of sneaky, something to look for is they're ranked 32nd against quarterbacks when they rush, allowing 6.7 yards per carry. So I think the Jaguars on offense are really going to take advantage of that. On the flip side, you look at the Buffalo Bills. It's Josh Allen and James Cook. James Cook is the leading rusher in the NFL with over 1,600 yards. But the Jaguars are ranked number one. We're going to see who wins this matchup on Sunday morning. And then I really like Jacksonville's defense. They're second in the NFL in takeaways. I got 31 in my notes. And another interesting stat: they have recorded 9 interceptions in their last 5 games. This is a good Jacksonville team. Just don't let Josh Allen and James Cook get hot. And if they don't, I think they comfortably win this game. Another fun stat: the Bills haven't won a road playoff game since 1993. Sean
Mm.
McDermott, as a head coach, is 7-7 in the playoffs. Give me the Jaguars.
I like it. I think, listen, this was my toughest pick overall. And I think the winner of this game will be in the AFC championship game. I think that is one of my predictions down the stretch here. I think both these teams have legit shots of representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. Jacksonville, a team that I have really come to enjoy, and I think they have developed over the course of the season into a legit Super Bowl contender. Trevor Lawrence is playing at an MVP level. They have a great ground game to go along with his production at the quarterback position. They also have a defense that's improved significantly down the stretch here. So with Jacksonville, man, like they are a dangerous football team, but I am leaning with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills entering this matchup. I've said this a ton this year. It just feels like the Buffalo Bills are finding some crazy ways to win ball games. It's not pretty by any means, right? Everybody's saying Josh Allen's not the same at times this year. With the difference between the Bills right now and the Bills, right, over the last few seasons is James Cook is just playing at a different type of level right now at the running back position. He has been so elite for this team. Concern for me with him this week is Jacksonville is also really good against the run, and that's something they've been great at the entire year. But I trust the fact that Josh Allen being a secondary option in this offense is going to be tough to beat. And I think that the Buffalo Bills really good pass defense is going to provide some problems for this Jaguars offense. It's just going to be a matter of if they can slow down the run just enough to allow their pass defense to get to work and play within the script. I'm not going to bet against Josh Allen in this matchup. Give me the team that has a little bit more experience, right? Allen's the better quarterback, kind of like Brady alluded to earlier. You want to pick the better quarterback in these situations in a toss up matchup. Give me the Buffalo Bills, right? Everybody's saying if they don't win it this year, when are they going to win it? Give me Josh Allen.
Hey, look, Josh Allen is 7-1 in his playoff career at Highmark Stadium. He is 0-4 in his playoff career away from it, and three of those games are an Arrowhead. I will give that to Josh. But I think that I'm going to go against myself here. This is one of those rare instances where I don't think the quarterback discrepancy is going to be enough. Dan kind of mentioned this. Like Trevor Lawrence is playing really well. He's obviously not Josh Allen. He's not the same level of quarterback. Josh Allen is the only reason that I truly believe that Buffalo has a chance in this game. And the reason that I think it's going to be very close because Ryan, you touched on this. James Cook, as great as he's been, the Jags might have the best run defense in the NFL right now.
Yep.
And the key for the Buffalo Bills kind of like you're saying, is to run everything through James Cook and let Josh Allen work off of that. Let him find these tight ends on these crossing routes. Let them get in 13 personnel. Let him find Khalil Shakir and get yards after the catch. It's not really a high octane passing game, and especially not when they can't work off of the run and they can't run play action and they can't keep the defense honest. And I think that the Jags are just going to get them in enough pure drop back, must pass situations with their run defense this week and I think that the Jaguars, as Dan said, are just a better team. I mean, they've got a better offense. They are great at running the football, even if Buffalo and James Cook are a little bit better. They've been more efficient passing the ball over the last 5, 6 weeks, and their defense is undoubtedly better. They've been one of the best defenses in the league over the last month and a half, 2 months. And I think that Liam Cohen is just a really creative play caller. I'm really excited to see what he does against this Buffalo defense. I think that they're going to have everything at their disposal. I think they'll be able to throw the ball. I think they'll definitely be able to run the ball. And I like the Jaguars in a close one, maybe a 27-24 type game. I think Allen's going to do everything he can. I think he's going to play a good game, but I think the Jags are just going to get that one stop that you really need late that I don't think Buffalo can get.
Yep, 100%. I think that's going to be the best game of the week, and I can't wait to watch that one on Sunday. Another good game. The 49ers are taking on the Eagles in Philly. Dan, can the 49ers defense find a way to give them a chance, or, is this 49ers offense maybe not as good as we think?
No, the 49ers offense is good. It's just they're facing a buzzsaw in the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Just big picture here, Philly has won 3 of their last 4 games, in their wins, during that win streak. The defense has held team under 20 points. I think they're gonna hold the 49ers again under 20. I did some research, so don't hold me like, don't write this in stone in case I missed the game, but, like, historically, Kyle Shanahan versus Vic Fangio, the most points he ever scored against them was 15, and I believe it was
Mm.
December of 2018. Vic Fangio is a pretty good, defensive coordinator, and he knows Shanahan's tricks. So yeah, I think it's going to be a real low scoring game. Philly's obviously the better team right now. They're healthier. It's probably the healthiest they've been the entire season, and they got some real talent on both sides of the ball. I don't think their offense, they struggled all season. Their offense. I don't think it's going to matter in this game. In my opinion, for the 49ers to win, they're going to have to take away the football and like get a pick six and score on defense. But, looking at their stats for the 49ers, they're ranked 24th in takeaways. They only have 16 this season, and they're ranked 32nd in the NFL in sacks. Miles Garrett has more sacks in this team. It's incredible. So it's not going to matter. The Eagles are better in every phase, and they're going to win this ball game. So I got the Eagles.
Yeah, I like the Eagles as well. I think it's more of, just a matchup where it's going to be tough for San Francisco. I thought there was some of these matchups where I think they, match up a little bit better with another team. Philly's not one of those teams. A great defense that is really good against the run and the pass, especially the pass in general with what they got on the outside of that cornerback position. On the flip side of the ball, I think the Eagles offense, I don't have a ton of confidence against them against a great defense. I have a lot of confidence against them against a bad 49ers defense. They have enough talent to where they'll be successful. These guys are coming off of a week of rest too, basically a bye week. They should have a okay game plan. I'm not going to say a good game plan because they still have Kevin Patullo as their offensive coordinator. Should have an okay game plan to attack this San Francisco defense that has struggled the entire year. And I know Salah is doing a great job with what he has. It's not going to be enough. Philly is too talented to not go against this weak 49ers defense and have success. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles. There is one interesting thing, though, that if you do want to bet something, I think Saquon Barkley is going to be the biggest beneficiary of this matchup. Should be in for a nice day. I like his over on touches and his yards prop in this matchup. Brady, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a really similar game to the wild card weekend game that Philly played last year, where it was a really ugly, sloppy game with some special teams miscues, not a ton of offense going on for either side between them and Green Bay. But the Philadelphia defense was just so dominant and just stymied Jordan Love. And I think that Brock Purdy is a very similar type of quarterback to Jordan Love, a high efficiency, maybe not the highest ceiling, but pretty high floor, EPA very high for this kind of player. I think that they're very similar, and I think that the Niners, I mean, they've overcome so many injuries this year that I just think the buck stops here. And it's crazy that before last Saturday, we were talking about Kyle Shanahan, Coach of the Year, Christian McCaffrey being an MVP talks. Niners could be the 1 seed, and now it could just be two losses in a row to elite defenses, and it's all over. I think that this defense is going to hold Christian McCaffrey in check. I think they're going to force Brock Purdy to beat them, and I don't think that he can. I was making my all pro teams today, and I had three Eagles just from this defense on that all pro team: DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, and Zach Bond all on there. I think this is a great unit. And like Dan said, Vic Fangio is an amazing DC who kind of knows everybody around the league and knows the tendencies. I don't know if Purdy's going to be able to get the ball enough to George Kittle, who hasn't really been a great big game player in his time. And I think that Seattle showed a lot on film of how to stop this offense last week that Philadelphia will build off of. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but I do think that Philadelphia is going to advance. And we are not going to have a divisional weekend without both of last year's Super Bowl teams.
Mm, all right. All right. The Chargers are taking on the Patriots in New England. First playoff game in a while for the Patriots, Dan. The Chargers have a chance of pulling off the upset on the road here.
Yeah, I want Brady to lead this one off. He's got the hat on. Lead us off,
Okay,
Brady.
yeah, I was gonna
Let's
say
go.
hard to hide my interest here, I guess, right
Who you
now.
picking?
So I think that this game is going to come down to a few things that make me confident for the New England Patriots. I do think that the Chargers are a very good team, especially for a 7 seed, and I really respect what Justin Herbert has done this year. And if MVP was truly for most valuable player, Herbert would finish in the top five on everybody's ballot without both of his starting tackles. The run game has been very inconsistent. Amari and Hampton's missed a lot of time. Najee Harris has been out for most of the year. Vidal has even dealt with injuries. There's not really a ton of premium pass catchers on this team. Lad McConkey is really good, but he's more of a slot guy, more of an over the middle. Quentin Johnston, we're still waiting on him to break out. He shows flashes every 8 weeks, but not really a whole lot going. Keenan Allen's like 1,000 years old. Justin Herbert has elevated this team's level of play a ton this year, and I think that he is the reason why they do have a chance. But I saw a stat like in the playoffs over, I can't remember the period of time, but teams coming from a dome playing in sub 40-degree weather are 1-14. And I did mention that the 7 seed has only won one time in this format. The Chargers could do it, but I think that the matchup I'm really excited to see, or maybe going to be grossed out to see, is that the Chargers are a bottom 2 line and the Patriots are a bottom 2 pass rush in terms of getting to the passer without
Bad
blitzing.
against bad.
And I think that the edge still goes to the Patriots there with Milton Williams back. Milton Williams and Christian Barmore can at least create pressure on the interior against Mekhi Becton, Bradley Bozeman, and this interior offensive line, not to mention how bad the tackles are. Patriots could even get home on the edge with Chase on. I think that the Chargers are going to have problems scoring the football and consistently moving down the field. And I think that the Chargers defense, while they are good, is very zone heavy, and I don't think they're going to really be able to get Drake May off of his spot a ton. I don't know if Drake May is going to just have a 350-yard, like light the world on fire type of game, but I think he's going to be very efficient. I think he'll give you 285, two touchdowns, and I'm going to go with the Patriots, maybe like a 24-14 type of game, something a little bit more low scoring than I think people might expect. But I think the Patriots are going to get it done fairly comfortably in Foxborough on Sunday night.
Dan, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. Patriots come in, they won 13 of their last 14 games. Their offense has put up 24 plus points in 12 straight. I think New England's going to pull this game out. I think to me, this game comes down to the trenches. We know Mr. Harbaugh wants to run the ball, but he doesn't. He doesn't have his offensive line. If he did, it'd be a different story, but he doesn't. And this O line is getting Herbert killed.
And we're not even sure
Uh,
if Hampton's going to go either, also.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I did that. That's right. I don't have the injury report up, but the Chargers do have a lot of people on their injury report that would worry me. But the Chargers offensive line has allowed 60 sacks this season. That's second worst in the NFL. Herbert has a quarterback pressure rate of 43.3%. That's the highest. To me, I mean, you saw it against Houston. It's just too easy against this offensive line. Philadelphia, people that they're turnstiles right now, and against this Patriots team, just look at the tape when they played Tampa Bay, who's got a really good offensive line. Did you see what the Patriots did? They dominated on both line of scrimmage. I think they're going to dominate this one. So I think that they're gonna handle business. And don't forget the Patriots defense is sixth in the NFL, only allowing 101.7 rush yards per game, and they're sixth, only allowing 3.9 yards per carry to running back. So I think the Patriots win this game on Sunday night.
Yeah, when I look at this matchup, it's just I think, you kind of saw it against the Chargers last time they played against the Texans in that big game for seeding, right? This team just, their defense allowed two big plays that was pretty uncharacteristic of them, and they locked it down, right? This is a solid defense that has improved throughout the season. They're a little bit vulnerable to the big plays over the top, and that's clearly what the Patriots' strength has been this season, is they're getting a lot of one-on-one looks on the outside, and Drake May is not missing those one-on-one looks. So I would expect to see a few of those from the Patriots in this one. Expect Kayshon Boutte to have a nice little day. I think his overs are in play. As far as like the matchup itself goes, right, the Chargers offensive line puts them in a bad situation every single week, right? Regardless of what Justin Herbert does, there's at least 3 drives a game where he doesn't have a chance on a play and it ruins a drive completely, right? It doesn't matter who they've been playing. That's just how it's been. And the Chargers' floor this year has been very low because of that. I do think their defense can keep them in this game, but if they're not able to slow down the big plays, it is going to be not as close as the spread suggests right now. I think with the way the Patriots have been playing, they have a ton of confidence. And while I don't think they have, the experience of playing all the teams the Chargers have this year, they are rolling right now. And confidence, right? Brady, this. Like when you are feeling it, you are feeling it. And no matter who you play, right, you are going to be feeling that going forward. The Chargers have felt the bumps, the bruises, how difficult it has been to get to the spot they have this season. Luckily for them, the guys got a little bit of rest, but I think the Patriots are rolling a bit right now. They are the more I wouldn't even say they're significantly more talented than Los Angeles, but they have the better matchups up front that you want to see in a playoff game. And I think that they're going to be able to take care of business. I am interested to see, like you said, how does Drake May perform in the playoffs? Is he a guy that, plays like he did in the regular season? Does he, maybe have a little bit of a tight butthole at times to open this one
Oh,
up? We will see
He's
what
gonna be
happens.
hey,
right.
But
if there's any indication, he was 4-0 in primetime games this year. I know
we'll
two of those
see.
were against the
We'll
Jets
see.
and the Giants, but what I do want to say is it's going to be
Okay.
funny if the Patriots win. The narrative is going to change really fast because obviously, and it's warranted, by the way. The
I know.
schedule talk. Patriots didn't play a ton of great teams, but it's going to go from oh, the Chargers are going to upset the Patriots. I've seen that might be the most popular upset pick this week. It's going to go from the Chargers are going to beat them, Patriots are getting beat in the wild card round. Well, the Chargers suck. Like they're the most fraudulent 11-win team. Patriots beat another cupcake. It's going to switch up just like
I think
that.
you're too much on Patriots Twitter. I
No,
think
it's not. It's
I think
anti-Patriots Twitter. Listen,
I think like as far as
The
No, you
X
upsets
both
go, like
algorithm
that's the
rage
third
baits
matchup.
you.
I think like
you're both
obviously Bills and like Bills and Bears are probably like the two upset candidates I look at right off the bat. Then it's probably maybe the Patriots out of that grouping.
I don't know, I've
All right.
probably gotten 100 comments towards me this week just in my mentions of how the Chargers are
It's
gonna
because
whoop the
you're on the
Pats
Patriots side
and
of things, bro. You're on Patriots hate watch and Patriots side. You are literally Drake May advocate right now. So
I
you're
am.
getting the
I'm like
extreme sides of both.
if I had just a little bit bigger platform, feel like I could influence the MVP race.
All right. Last game of the week, Texans versus Steelers. Let me start off with this one. The
Yeah.
Houston Texans might just have the scariest defense in football. And if they played like they did during the regular season, there is not a matchup where Houston can't stay in the game. Do I like their offense? No, I don't like their offense at all. Their offensive line's inconsistent. They don't have a running game. And while I think CJ Stroud has played better than he did last season, he's still incredibly inconsistent. I do think their pass catchers have taken a big step forward this year outside of Nico Collins. Jaden Higgins seems like a good player long term. Jalen Noel has made some splash plays. Christian Kirk seems to like he's still got it, and Dalton Schultz has looked better this year. That's all you need against Pittsburgh is a few guys who can catch the ball. You saw what their secondary kind of, the holes they had against Baltimore last week. They've had some holes in that secondary throughout the entire season. So when I look at this matchup, the Texans defense going against a Steelers offense that doesn't have a plethora of weapons, I do think they're going to really try to exploit the Texans defense with a quick passing game. I don't think that's going to work still because the Texans are talented on every level of that defense. On the flip side of it, I like the matchup for the Texans offense. I got the Texans in that one. Brady, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like the Steelers lately have just been riding this like wacky, like honestly, luck is the best way I would put it. Like
Mm,
all this random stuff has been happening, like the Lions game, you get the OPI debacle where they don't actually get the last play and all this and that. And then last week you've got Cheetah Bay Awuzie like falling on, like slipping, trying to break on that move, and then you get the Tyler Loop missed kick. Like it's just been a lot of stuff that's been like this Mike Tomlin voodoo is the best way to explain it, but I think that the Texans defense is just too good to where they're going to overcome that. I do think the Steelers will actually keep this game close throughout, at least within 10. And
is that because of their
Rodgers,
quarterback?
I mean, I was about to say Rodgers has played a lot better football over the last 4 or 5 weeks. Ever since that Bills game where the Steelers got embarrassed at the end of November, Rodgers played a really good month of December in comparison, and definitely in comparison to his Jets tenure. But I mean, they just don't have the horses. The Steelers, even on defense, I mean, I think the pass rush will be able to affect C.J. Stroud with T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, Alex Highsmith, and even Herbig. But I don't think that the secondary is great. I don't think that I like you said, the Texans can't run the ball, but I just don't think the Steelers will be able to generate enough offense. Give me the Texans maybe like 20 to 17, 20 to 14, something like that.
Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, so look at it. Houston comes into the game 9 straight wins. Pittsburgh has won 4 of their last 5. Pittsburgh offense has scored 26 plus 4 of their last 5 games. I think this is pretty interesting when I look at it. Obviously Houston's got the second ranked scoring defense, but they have 47 sacks. That's tied seventh. They have 29 takeaways. That's third. If you look at Pittsburgh's defense, they actually have one more sack than Houston. They have 48, so they're ranked sixth, and they have 27 takeaways, so they're ranked fourth. Kind of similar, and I was surprised to see that. I think this game is going to come down to the red zone. Pittsburgh's defense is ranked seventh this season in the red zone. Houston's offense ranked 30th. I think we're gonna have an upset here. So I'm getting weird on Monday Night Football. The Texans have never won a road playoff game. Hey, and listen, I thought about this today. Okay, this isn't baseball. This isn't basketball. This is the magic about NFL football. It's a one game. Houston's
You
the better
screw up
team.
once, it's over. Yeah.
This isn't a 7 game series. This is one game on Monday night, and they got to travel to Pittsburgh. It's going to be freezing cold. The spread's this close as it is, and Pittsburgh's been playing some good football. And the way Houston has been playing, I've watched them. They played the Cardinals, they played the Raiders, and they played somebody else I can't think of off the top of my head, but they haven't looked good in those games. I'm telling you. Besides that Chargers game, they scored what 2 straight possessions, and then they kind of slowed down. I don't trust Houston's offense. So, like I said, if Pittsburgh got a good matchup, they can hang around. I think this is a game they will hang around. Texans never won a road playoff game in their franchise history. D'Amico Ryans is 2-2 in the playoffs. Mike Tomlin, on the other hand, 8-11. His last win was 2016. It's been a while, but that just weird thing that he's 22-3 at home, or sorry, 22-3 overall on Monday Night Football, and he's 12-0 at home. I like numbers, man. So give me the Pittsburgh Steelers to pull off the upset and just screw everybody's bracket.
Mm.
Interesting. All
I
right.
I
Well,
don't
you
hate
heard
it.
it.
I don't hate it at all, Dan.
You heard it here. Our wild card predictions for the week. Drop your hottest prediction and your hottest takes down in the comment section below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Angle content. Me, Dan, and Brady will catch you guys next time.